Hello, hello, hello. This is the White Collar Goon, the creative and artistic manifestation, expression, interpretation of Angels in Politics. Angels in Politics is the unification of the conscious and subconscious, the permanent and the impermanence, the light and the dark, the yin and the yang, the solar and the lunar. Okay? Um, we do speak a lot about Kundalini energy. We do speak often about awakenings. But what are we to the core? Well, we're you. You're the news. Meaning that you're on 24/7. You can't be turned off. That's you. Um, so boom. I wanna like piggyback off of a conversation I was having about cosmetics, and I'll just go here with it. I'll just go right into it. First and foremost, have you had your dinner? Have you had a meal? Okay, it's all right. Like, just if you're fasting right now, continue your fast. Right now, I'm just drinking a little bit of water because I have to stay hydrated. As you can see, I'm out here in the sunlight and I'm receiving the solar energy. Shout out to the Lune feminine. Yo, the Lune feminine is coming. Like, I know, like, you've been hearing about it, but the Lune feminine is coming, and the lunar energy is the Kundalini energy, and it is the energy that's at the base of the spine. But whenever I mean lunar, I mean in opposition to the solar energy, and the lunar energy has a lot to do with water. Well, yeah, a lot to do with water. If you can do your studies, I'm not a scientist. Well, not a scientist in the Western sense, and or in any sense of the matter. But the moon has a lot. It's in direct correlation with the ocean and the waves and water in general. So your body is 70+% water. The globe, the world, the earth that we're on right now is what percent water? I know it's probably over 50%. I know it's probably a little bit over like 60%. Maybe it might be 70+% as well. So there's a correlation there. But when I say shout out to the Lune feminine, not only am I just talking about the divine feminine, because the divine feminine is the culmination or the coalescence of the solar and lunar energy, but and the synthesis of those energies. But I'm talking about, okay, so I had the video earlier about the solar girls, solar power, the solar squad, and solar energies meaning the brightness, the magnitude, the heat, the fire, the intensity. Um, these tend to be more the type A. That's what I would call type A ladies. So yeah, they're the type of women who walk into a room. These were the girls in high school who were on the cheerleading team. They probably were the archetypal cheerleader. These were the quintessential. Um, you're gonna hear me before you see me. Even when you see me, you're gonna know what kind of girl I am. I mean, like, these are the kind of girls who like walk into a room and they shift the energy, they shift the frequency. These are the type of girls who, in a crowd setting, girls want to be around them and guys want to be with them, and they intimidate guys, and a lot of girls tend to subscribe to their behaviors because it's like, wow, this is the peppy chick, this is the girl who's upbeat, this is the girl who tends to just have a certain type of magnetism. She has a certain type of fire, and we all know that we cultivate around the fire. We congregate around the fire. We constantly are attracted to the fire in a camp setting, or in a prehistoric setting, or even in a current setting. The fire brings, it shows or emits light through a tunnel of darkness. So particularly women who have that extroverted nature, who are the gregarious, outgoing nature, the women who are fairly low in neuroticism, meaning they're not anxious. They don't think the world's out there to get them. They don't feel that bad about themselves. They don't feel like they're depressed. They don't call themselves victims. Like, maybe because they're pretty, maybe because the world has always acquiesced or conceded to their beliefs because they've been the it girl, they've been the popular girl. Guys have always fallen over them, and these are, I mean, maybe they just have a different type of mindset on these things. But maybe they're fairly, you know, evenly killed in their temperament. Maybe they're not highly moody. Maybe they're not super disagreeable, but maybe they're not all the way agreeable at the same time. Maybe they're independent minded. Maybe they're very sharp, very intellectual, very intelligent, very well spoken. As far as their trait openness, they might be highly open to experiences, and I feel like these types of girls might be seen as flirtatious. The solar girls might be seen as flirtatious, not because, like, oh my gosh, every guy has a chance with them, but it's like, no, these girls just like, they like to talk, they like to meet people, they like the attention, and you know, they can talk with the guy, and they can talk with people, and they can be amongst a group and not necessarily feel like, hey, just because I'm around you, people are going to think that we're together, or you think you have a chance with me. Like, no. Like, this is purely how they are. And that's just the solar. The solar energy is just bright like how you see right now. Bright like it lightens up the sky. And just right now, just being out here speaking with you, it allows me to be, I'm warm. Well, I'm wearing black right now too, and I'm standing in the sun. But I'm also just warm thinking about the solar power from women in general. Just that solar chakra, the solar plexus, just just that full solar energy. But this video is actually about the lunar. Okay, so saying all that to be said, what is the lunar energy? What is the lunar type of chick? All right, and I can say this. Let me sit down. The lunar girls tend to be a bit more introverted. The lunar girls tend to be a bit more, quieter. Not to say shy, but maybe they're just not too keen. Maybe they're just not too keen on making people like them, or being liked by a lot of people, or putting themselves out there to meet new people. These kind of girls are like, they're cool on that shit. To be simple, to be candid, like, the lunar kind of girls are very much okay and comfortable in their own space, and within their own space, they like to be detached, and they don't want to be seen as like the peppy, yo, I'm loud, let me be a cheerleader, guys come look at me, girls come be like me. They're not those kind of girls, because it's like they don't want to emulate that image, because they're okay with their image. Actually, they're more than okay with it. They like their image. The lunar girls are very confident, but they're confident by exploring their authenticity, their intelligence, their quirks, their nuances, their differences, and they believe that their differences are what makes them unique. It's what makes them special, and they like it, So I think that polarity against the solar type of girl, or the other solar energy, isn't super opposing in the sense like, oh, we hate you. It's more so, it's like, hey girl, like, you do your thing over there, and I'm gonna do my thing over here. I feel like the lunar, when I think lunar women, I think they might be a bit more emotional. Well, I mean, women can be, and individuals, men too. Everybody has emotions, and everybody is emotional. I think maybe the lunar energy, maybe with their emotions and how they express it, is going to be in a different way, because they seem to be a bit more guarded. They might tend to be a bit more safe or conservative with how they express themselves, right? So if the solar girl is kind of like very, I won't say she's very open, but like open to experiences. Her trait openness means she's open to, yeah, to try new food, try new styles, try talking to this new person. I feel like the lunar, is a bit closed off, not because she hates it, because it's like, hey, I like my food, I'm gonna eat the type of food that I eat, or I like this style, and this is gonna be the colors that I'm. So a term could be conservative. Maybe she's less open to experiences. Maybe her neuroticism level might be fairly high. Maybe she does care about what people think about her, which is a good thing too. Maybe, to a point. Maybe she has certain types of insecurities and anxieties and fears that play into her logic and play into her reasoning, and because she's analytical and she's a critical thinker, that will dictate how she moves on a day-to-day basis. So the lunar type of woman, I feel like, is a bit more common to me in the world than the solar. The solar is probably your traditional, or, well, traditional is not what I mean by conservative, but she might be the conventional archetype that you find on like movies, or you find in like a music video, or you find in like, yeah, a magazine, whoever the heroine is, or the protagonist's love interest. It's going to be, and sometimes it's like this type of girl who's like super popular or some shit like that in the high school. You watch the teenage movies, it's like whether it's the Pretty in Pink, or the, not necessarily just the Breakfast Club, or it could be what's that movie? But a lot of these John Hughes movies from the 80s, but it's almost like commonplace to find that the guy in high school, whether it was the Michael J. Fox when he was like the Wolfman, or the Wolf, whatever it was called, is like, the guy's always dating the cheerleader. The cheerleader is going to be like the archetype that is projected. But to me, the majority of women are probably going to fall in the lunar category. The lunar category is going to be a bit more calm, a bit more temperamental, but at the same time, they provide so much to you, or to a relationship, because of their complexities, because of their layers, because of the time that they spend to themselves. I think because they may not be the quote unquote popular girls. When you hang out with the women who are lunar, who are more lunar, they're the ones who are like creative. Those are the ones who might be into, who are more like maybe the artists. Those might be the ones who are highly intelligent. Maybe those are the ones that you can have philosophical conversations with, deep, thought-provoking conversations with. Those are the ones who are the playwrights. Those are the ones who can be the photographers. Those are the girls who can be, you know what I'm saying? Like when you think dancers, you think cheerleader, you think theater, you think actress, you think people who are comfortable being on stage, people who are comfortable with individuals looking at them, people who are comfortable. And when I say comfortable, I'm putting that here. I'm talking like if you're solar, like when I'm talking like the sun, then not only are you comfortable, like you need it. You know what I'm saying? You're one of those girls who are like, I'm a performer, not because I'm just good at it. It's like I literally need to be on stage. I need to have the eyes on me. I need to have my voice heard. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if you are that way innately, like, God bless, because you have that's a specific niche or niche market, because as you mature, and you can be mature at whatever age you are, but you realize as people grow up, whatever that means too, a lot of people aren't like that. The majority of people aren't like that. 80%, 90% of people don't want the eyes on them. They don't want the attention on them. They don't want their voice to be heard outside of everybody else's, because it's polarizing, and it's isolated, and you'll be forced to be, one of two ways. Either you're going to be highly praised, or you're going to be highly critiqued. And I feel like even if you're highly praised, you're still going to be highly critiqued prior to the praise. So most people don't. They like to be praised, but only at a moderate level, because they're not willing to have that blowback of like oh my gosh, that was terrible, or get off the stage, or you're not what we want to see because we don't like your look. I mean, there's a whole lot of there's a whole lot that comes with being an outgoing, outspoken, out kind of person, and I would say the lunar women, the lunar energy may not necessarily be into that, but they have their own they have their own issues as well. Like I said, these might be the more these could be the engineers, these could be the artists, the these could be the type of girls that make the best girlfriends, maybe. I mean, and solar girls can make the best girlfriends or best partners as well. But the lunar girls will probably provide you with a bit more of comfort, a bit more stability, a bit more security, because they're not necessarily looking for that attention from the opposite sex or from their own sex. It's like I heard this point blank from my homegirl the other day. Like, yo, when girls go out to the club, when girls go out to the spot, when girls go out to parties, they're not checking for no motherfucking dudes. Like, I mean, because they know how it goes. Like, if guys want it, they're gonna pull up regardless. But like, she was saying, like, girls go out and they're like competing with other girls. Like, girls are looking at, how they're dressing, how homegirl's makeup is, how homegirl's hair is. Well, you know what I'm saying? Does her clothes look cheap? Does she look loosely put together? Does she look basic as fuck? Or is she like, yo, like, homegirl's fit? Homegirl's makeup is looking nice. Homegirl's clothes are like properly put together. She's doing it. Like, and these are the types of nuances that girls like assess. And I feel like that lunar energy is very cool, because as it grows, and as women manifest that lunar energy, and they mature into their femininity, those are the girls who I believe, when they get past high school and quote unquote like university and these types of like environments and paradigms whereby the sorority girl is popular in university, or the cheerleader is popular in high school, and like once that shit gets out of the way, like the women after 25 tend to be like the lunar girls, who are the beamed up ones. The lunar girls are the ones who you see them at 30 and you're like, whoa, or you see them at 28, it's like, damn, like, whoa. And it's like, that's because they refine, they were able to refine and become a bit more sophisticated with everything, with their areas of expression, with their how they interface with you socially, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, things of that nature. I mean, as far as the physiology, you're probably more akin to say, oh, damn girl, you beamed up, you glowed up. But it's like, maybe she did, 9 times out of 10 she did, but it looks a bit more emphasized, because it's like, yo, you weren't checking for me back in 8th grade. You know what I'm saying? Like, if these girls who are 29, these girls who are 32, a lot of these girls who you might even see on TV right now, it's like, if they showed you their high school picture, it's like, no, motherfucker, you were not checking for me. Guys were not checking for me. In college, freshman year, I had the glasses on. I couldn't really dress like that. I was not at the parties because I wasn't that sociable kind of girl, and you walked by me. You walked past me. You didn't see me. But the lunar energy now, those are the girls who are out there making their bread. Those are the girls out there who are well established. Those are the women who have their jobs, have their careers set up, set straight. And then, yeah, she's been eating well. She's been on that plant-based diet. Maybe she's on that Whole Foods plant-based. Maybe she's vegetarian. Maybe she, alternates between vegetarian and pescatarian. Maybe she's been hitting the gym. Maybe she does her Pilates and spin classes. Maybe homegirl went out to the ashram for a few weeks, came back, beamed up, glowed up, doing her yoga every day. She's doing her pranayama practices in the morning. Maybe she's meditating and going on her jogs, going on her cycles. There's a lot of things. Maybe she's well read. She started reading. She kept reading. She finished school. She finished graduation. She finished her studies. But yet she still enjoys, reading and going to the museum and walking around with her camera, because she's just into the photography, and she knows a bit about wine, and she looks at you crazy when you pick up that Barefoot and that Carlos Rossi on that box wine. Like, how dare you disrespect me like that? Like, maybe she's a bit more sophisticated. So shout out to the Lune feminine, but shout out to that lunar energy. Shout out to that lunar energy, the divine waters. Namaste and namaskar.